What is going on YouTube? It is Primitive here, and welcome to a match that happened yesterday at the RMC Locals. Now this is going to be a matchup that we haven't had on the channel before, which is going to be Security Control versus Diaboromon. And we're going to see the Security Control player going first, starting off with the Magna Angemon. So putting the Diaboromon player at 7 memory, which is going to give them a lot of room to work with, but going up to 6 security, which is going to be pretty important, because this Diaboromon deck does have the Kurisarimon that makes it so that you can rush when summoning Diaboromons with their tokens. So if you get out a bunch of Errata Sonatas and have the rush inheritable, you can go in for a bunch of checks. So as a security control player, you want to start to build up into that. Magna Angemon gonna swing in and trade in. Izzy only hitting 1 black card there, so I'm not going to gain the memory. There are a lot of different colors in the security control list. I'm not exactly sure how many different colors there are. I think it's 4 or 5 different colors, because they do play the 2 Puppetmons in there, and then I think there are the Sorajos, so a lot of different colors. So the Izzies are going to be pretty low chance of actually hitting, but if you do get that, the memory gain could be pretty good. On deletion, they're going to play a token, which is pretty important because the recycling of your Diaboromon is going to make it so that you can get more swings in. These Diaboromon tokens are not going to be able to get put down by Ultimate Flare because they are Megas. So being able to get Digimon to recycle off your old Digimon is really good in the security control matchup. The Infamon here, are they going to want to Digivolve or are they going to swing in? Because if you want to swing in, you'd want to swing in first, but going to Digivolve, get the token, and then I imagine tap the Errata to get another token, not tapping the Errata to get another token. So wonder if they just forgot about the Errata there, or if they had a reason that they didn't want to suspend there. Going to gain another token. Going to replace the tokens there with the dice there. So we have 5 tokens on board. Gaining another memory there because there is the unidentified in the trash. So going to start building up. Have a decent amount of Diaboromon tokens that could start going in. I don't really see a reason to not have to. Going to see a change back to the tokens here. Why not? Looks like I was incorrect, there were 6 tokens. They're all just swinging in now. I don't really see a reason why you wouldn't want to. Just start going in. If any of them survive, you could probably just go into an Armageddon. The one of Flower Cannon is going to suspend both. The Armageddon will come in because it has Rush. Hits an Izzy. That's an interesting reveal because you could put Magnagramon on top, play it, and then put 2 Ultimate Flares in your security. Now, if that's something that you want to do, maybe not because it's not the most effective right now, but if your opponent does start to go wide, you could start to set up, and then the couple Ultimate Flares are pretty good at stopping wider boards. But as of now, that Armageddon and that Diaboromon token are just kind of hanging out. So gonna see the Magnagramon coming out. We do know that those are 2 Ultimate Flares from the Izzy. If you're gonna swing, you're gonna want to go in with the Infamon, the now Diaboromon, so that if when they do hit the Ultimate Flare, they're gonna survive. The memory gain right there is from the Errata because they missed it at the beginning of the turn. It is a mandatory effect, so no foul there. Going to Ultimate Flare, there's only 1 target, so we'll take them out, and then these are Megas, so they're gonna survive, gonna hit again, and then go in for game. So like I said, the Ultimate Flares, usually very good cards to have in security, but just in this certain situation, they're not going to be great. Those Diaboromon tokens being Megas is pretty rough. They do have a pretty high play cost. I do believe it's a 14 play cost or 13 play cost, so well over the threshold for Ultimate Flare. Just saw a Shademon play turn 1, so instead of passing, giving the security control player 6, which gives them a lot of room. Going to be able to play Izzy and then recover, only putting the opponent down to 5, but we see the Karamon's hit. And now starting to build up. The turn 1 Shademon was a bit rough, but if you're able to start getting up into some Diaboromons early, that's going to be good. We saw how good the tokens were. Being able to just spawn multiple tokens out is so annoying for the security control player because they can't get rid of it with the Ultimate Flare, as we saw, and they can only really get rid of 1 at a time with their option cards. So Digivolving into the Magnagramon and then swing to play Lucamon. That's a pretty good play. You beef up your Magnagramon, they're probably not going to be able to swing over it, and you get this Lucamon out, which is a big threat if your opponent suspends anything. They're probably going to be able to swing it over unless it's like a Diaboromon, and you get the recovery. So looking really good for the security control player here. Wondering what you want to go into, if you want to go into raising or just going to go into the Diaboromon so that way you can get the token out, and then you are only able to Digivolve for 2, but I guess it doesn't matter because you go up to 3 with Izzy. But now you're going to be able to swing with multiple checks with this Diaboromon If it survives even one of the multiple checks, or if it just even survives into the next turn, you're gonna see the ultimate flare, so we'll pop it down now. So still has the Shademon and one of the Diaboromon tokens on board, and gonna gain 2 extra memory. Sitting at a lot of memory, you could probably just get up into another Diaboromon if you want, but we're gonna see the Caramon search. Don't hit the errata, so just gonna get 1 card, and gonna grab the Inframon. That's gonna make it so you can at least start to get up into your Diaboromons, or you can warp on top of your Caramon if you wish. You have 4 memory, so you could do the warp and then go into Diaboromon for 3, and then your opponent's gonna be at 3 anyway. But instead deciding to go on top of the Cursarimon, which honestly just makes sense because now you're going to be able to threaten going rush on your tokens, and you have 2 erratas, so next turn if you go into Diaboromon, you could just get 3 or 2, potentially 3 tokens out depending what Diaboromon you go into, and then that would give you a lot of swings. And then these tokens, like I said, are going to be very important because they're very annoying for security control, and with the 3rd errata out now, you're really going to be setting up to go for these swings next turn. But knowing security control, they're probably just going to try and get rid of it here. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of memory paid to Ultimate Flare, which is going to pop the whole board, but going to gain 3 with the errata, so can start to just build back up. The Diaboromon player was starting to put up a really scary board for the security control player, so if they weren't able to clear that there, the Diaboromon player might have just been able to win the game. So I'm gonna probably assume that they're gonna try to get back into a similar game state. Don't hit the errata, so gonna see what they take. Gonna take the Armageddon, so that way you can recycle these Diaboromon tokens if they do survive, or whatever Diaboromons that you go up into later. Makes sense. You need to get as many checks as possible. You got to be aggressive as possible, and you don't really have the hybrids, so the Armageddon is going to be the closest thing. Just going to pop this one straight up, so that way you can have a DP boost being at 15k, so it's going to be a lot more durable. Not going to be able to go down to things like Transcendent Sword. Could still go down to like Gaia Force, but having Digimon on board that can threaten multiple checks is going to be really scary for security control, and this list does play Valderarm to go on top of things like the Magnedramon. But Armageddon is going to shut that down, so not going to be able to pop like 2 ultimates or something with the Valderarm, which could be very impactful in this matchup. So Armageddon really actually going to be super powerful in this matchup. I never really thought about how good it could potentially be, but there's not that much that can really get rid of it outside of the Gaia Force. Gonna see the Omnimon Zwart just hard played, or the Zwart defeat. So I mean, if that's the only play that you have, I'm not sure what that's going to do for you. It does give you multiple checks with the tie and mat, and if you do have Transcendent Sword, now you can give the minus 15k DP, but you did put your opponent at 10. Now they're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 Diaboromon tokens on board that all have Rush. Plus you have a Diaboromon and an Armageddon, so starting to build up. Doesn't want to play into Ultimate Flare. I do like Digivolving into the champion there, so that if you do hit it, you at least have something in that slot. But just going into multiple Diaboromons, getting another Diaboromon token that will have Rush. Now I imagine as a Diaboromon player, you just have to go in now. If you're going to have all these Rush swings, you have to go in Valderarm, Magnedramon, Puppetmon, Dracomon, and Izzy. Doesn't hit 3 black cards. If you were, you would be able to end your opponent's turn and potentially have a chance there, but Diaboromon just was a little bit too aggressive with those rush cards. See the Ultimate Flare there, and you'll see that I start to put Kevin's cards in face down defense position just for good measure. But with that being said, if you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe because I'll be having Digimon content coming to you all the time, and I hope you have a great day. Peace out.